Welcome back to Crazy Creations. Today we're talking about 22 long rifle ammo shortage. So let me show you what I got here. So what I got here is some 22 caliber pellets, and I don't know if you can see that there. The back of the pellet is rounded, like domed in there. You guys probably can't see that. But I've used some normal pellets, and they were too pointed in the back, too much like a cone, and it just kind of blew the pellet up, kind of shot it in a couple pieces. But these are actually a 31.2 grain bullet, and it's not actually 22 caliber, but it's .218, so it'll fit inside of a 22 caliber gun. And this is just a sample pack from the Nielsen Specialty Ammo Co. I ordered this online. They have a whole bunch of other different other calibers, all the way up to 50 caliber and down to .17. So that's where I got this. If you want to do this, that's where you need to go. And I've tried this multiple times. They look pretty good. And to fire that, you have your 22 caliber blanks. You have the power level 2, 3, 4. They actually have power level 5 and power level 1. I don't have them. We'll get into that a little bit later. What I'm going to be shooting today is I'm going to be using my 22 caliber flare gun, and then my Rough Rider Heritage 22 rifle, or 22 handgun. And then I'll be comparing to this Aquila. Aquila's not a great brand of 22 ammo, but it's what I have. And then they're 38 grain, which surprisingly for 38 grains works really well, because it's a super extra hollow point. That's where the 2 grains come out. So it's about the same power as a 40 grain. So let me show you how I'm going to load this. So first off, we're going to try my 22 caliber flare gun. And so you take a Q-tip, and you rip the cotton off the end of it. So you use that like wadding, otherwise the 22 caliber bullet will just slide out the end of the barrel, and you want the bullet to stay put. So you get one of these little bad boys. If you stick it out there without it, it's just going to end up sliding all the way through the barrel. So you stick some cotton from a Q-tip in there, and then you take your cotton swab or whatever. Stick the bullet in there, and now it's going to sit. The bullet is going to sit nicely in there, about like that. Then I'm going to take my power level 2 22 caliber blank, which looks like that. I'm just going to stick that and push it right in behind the bullet, and now you have a loaded chamber ready to fire. So when you place that down, now you're ready to go. And let's go shoot this. Now these definitely do have a lot more powder than a normal 22 caliber bullet, because they're meant for shooting nails into concrete or blacktop. If you're shooting it down on like if you're setting up a tent on top of a what's it called? A parking lot. There you go. That's the word. If you're setting up one of those giant tents on a parking lot and you need to shoot a giant nail into the parking lot for the stakes or whatever, then sometimes they use some of these blanks, or you're putting up drywall and you're putting boards and you're nailing through the board into cinder block wall. They'll use these 22 caliber blanks, and so these have a lot more gunpowder than normal 22 caliber bullets. So with this gun, it doesn't look the greatest, because you can see the shells popped out there, and I don't have my pocket knife on me. Nope. Okay, I got it. So here's the end of the blank. It kind of, I don't know if you can see that or not, beveled out the end of it there, in the back. And there's the top of it. But so that shot out. They're not the most accurate round. I don't know if it's getting enough compression when it shoots the bullet out. So I have no clue. The bullet could be like dropping out the end of the barrel. I'm not sure. With a longer rifle, my Ruger 1022, I tried that. Now that's a lot harder to load, but you can fidget with it and get it up in there. And that I've actually hit several targets with it, and that works really well because of the longer barrel. This, because it's such a short snub-nosed barrel, I have no clue what velocity it's getting out of it. But now on to my second gun. I'm going to use this. This is interesting because to load this, you can cock it back twice, and this flops out, and then you have the cylinder, which trying to load this way with the blanks and the pellets be really difficult. But on the side here, there's a little button, and you pull this rod out, and the whole cylinder comes out the side. And now with the cylinder like this, you can load up each individual place for the ammo, each individual chamber with your blanks and your 22 pellets, and shoot it like a normal 6-shooter. 6 shots, you're done. Not unless you don't want to leave one underneath the chamber, so you only have 5. But with this gun, it's actually safe to have 6 in it because it has an external safety right here on the side. You can flip that down. That's fire, and that's on safety, and it will not go off with the safety up. I've made that mistake multiple times. Forget to turn it off, you go to shoot it, and it's like, oh, what happened? It must have been blank. Oh wait, no, the safety was still on. So the safety works very well. It actually flips up a little half like ground off pin in there, and that's what stops the safety. No, that's what is the safety. It just blocks the hammer from resting down on the firing pin. So let's go ahead and load this up, and then we'll give this a try. So again, with your cylinder, you have to load up each and every cylinder. You got to take a Q-tip, which for 6 shots, I'd take 3 Q-tips because you can use both ends. And you stick that in there, and you take your little pellet and you load it the same way you did with the single barrel. You just do it 6 more times, or 5 more times. But load them up in there, and now I'm using the power level 2 again. I'll talk about why a little later. Load that up in there, just like that, and you do that 6 more times. Alright, so I got this all loaded up now, so now let's go ahead and shoot it. Alright, fired a couple extra times just to make sure all the rounds went off. And it seems to be shooting really high. I've shot this gun quite a bit, and I know where it shoots. And with these rounds, they're shooting extra high. So they are coming out, though. I can see them hitting the grass. And some of these barely even opened up on the end there. I don't know if you can see that or not. But some of them like flare all the way open, like straight. Some of these are like not even coming open. Ooh. Now I got one that is stuck. There we go. That probably flared all the way open. Not all the way, but almost all the way. Kind of cracked on the side of there. I don't know if you can see that. Oh no, you can't see that at all. Along the side of that shell, kind of cracked it. So these shells, I don't know if it's the extra powder they put in them or what. Maybe the brass is thinner walled on the side, but they have a habit of cracking the shell. and these are the power level 2, which is why I don't like using the power level 3 or the power level 4. The power level 3 sometimes have a habit of actually blowing off the back of the shell. I don't know why, because this has a good rest on it. This is an actual, I shot it out of this, which is an actual 22, not something I made, and it still ended up blowing off the back shell of it. I don't know why it did that. But, so that's why I've only used the power level 2 in this video, and I'm not going to use the power level 3 or the power level 4, these boxes, because I got these, I tried the power level 3, and the back blew off, and it actually, I'm healed up now, but on my finger in that, you can't see it. There was like a little red mark there, but a piece of the brass flew out the side and hit my hand, and I was draining blood down my finger afterwards. But so that was power level 3. I didn't even try power level 4 because that is even more powerful, and that's just stupid. If power level 3 is that more did that to my hand. So they have power level 5, and I definitely would not even think about trying that. I won't even try power level 4, let alone power level 5. So these blanks seem to have way more gunpowder than a normal 22 round does. So you heard the 22 blanks go off, so now let's go ahead and shoot a normal 38 grain Aquila extra hollow point round. These are actually the same power as a 40 grain hollow point. It's just the bullet is a little lighter. That's why it's 38 grain. But these fire really well. I've hit some targets that are a lot longer range that you should be able to hit with a 22. These are some pretty nice rounds. Shooting it out of my flare gun. I think that had, I don't know if more kick or the same. This is an actual 22 round, which works off a lot better than the blanks do. So if you have 22 caliber rounds, they work much better. But ammo shortage, you can't find 22 rounds. You can find these blanks at Menards or Lowe's, and they always have them. They have tons of them all the time. They don't even require an ID to purchase them. So you don't have to be over 18 to buy this box or any of the other rounds. For these 22 caliber blanks, they don't need an ID. So that's interesting. And then these I ordered online, and they didn't need any kind of identifications for that. So that's interesting. But so if you have 22 caliber rounds, they work better, but don't always have 22 caliber rounds, and that kind of stinks. So gotta make do with some other smaller stuff like this. These would definitely kill a rabbit or a squirrel if you're starving to death, if it was some type of like survivalist situation or whatever. And these are actually I'll get one out. These are actually a hollow point pellet. So I noticed that when I got them. I thought that was pretty interesting. You can see that there. It's a hollow point on the tip, so that's cool. And then you can see the slight dome on the back of the pellet. If any of y'all have ever handled a 22 caliber pellet gun, then the pellets, they're a lot more cone shaped in the back, and the pellets are a lot lighter. And with the gunpowder and the explosion, the pellets don't hold together. They fall to pieces, and I've tried to shoot that out of this. The pellets ended up getting lodged in the barrel of this gun, and I had to get a ramrod and get the thing out of there. They were stuck. It's all out of there now. It shoots fine, but it definitely was not something fun to try to mess with. So these pellets work good though. These are the only ones I've found that'll work. They have different grain, of these on this website. They have some lighter grain, some heavier grain. They have 0.17, 0.217. They have 0.2175, and then the biggest is 0.218, which is what these are. So I wish they made an even 0.22, but for some strange reason they didn't make that. I'm not sure why, but these say airgun use only on the package. But so what I'm doing here is obviously not airgun use. So if anything happens to you guys, if you try this, it's not the company's fault. They have specifically on the label, not for airgun use, airgun use only. So you can't, try to sue them or whatever if something bad happens. This is not what these are made for, but they do work. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's what we covered here today. I'll be making some future videos about my slamfire shotgun. I'm going to be putting my slamfire shotgun on a wood stock. I actually already have it on the stock, but I kind of cracked the back of the stock because the stock I made was set up for an older way of mounting it. Because I mounted the barrel on a wood stock like 2 different ways, and the second way, the wood stock wasn't set up for the new way, so it cracked the stock. So I have to rebuild that stock. When I get it rebuilt, then I'll make another video about that, and you'll be able to see that. Upcoming videos, I'll probably be making a survivalist bow that you can make with stuff out in your backyard or whatever, which I've done that before. I never made a video about it, so I'll probably remake one of those, show you how I did that. I've made a crossbow before, so the way I built it didn't last very long, so I'm going to rebuild that, show you how I did that, and I'm going to make it better than I did before. So that'll all upcoming in my future videos. So if you want to see those, hit the subscribe button, and if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button for me.